Hello and welcome to NARC Live on Wednesday the 26th of February 2025, coming to you live from Norfolk on the east coast of England with Tammy M0TC.
Hello.
And me, David G7ERP. Lovely to see you. On tonight's show, we find out all about bunkers on the air with Jason 2E0JIV. We look back at our science display at the Norwich Science Festival and find out how Jim Bacon got on with an audition to be a weatherman on the BBC stand. And we ask, what on earth is this? And in fact, we answer it. We've had quite a few entries, but if you know what that is and you haven't already entered, please pop it on to BATC or Facebook, and we will read out your answer with everybody else's. But first, I'm afraid we start with sad news. Too often have we had to start NARC Live recently with sad news. Firstly, I need to tell you about the death of Paul G3SEM, who's now Silent Key. Paul had a very long career in broadcasting as an OB engineer in those very early days of outside broadcasts, and a director, BBC director and producer, mainly with the BBC, but also with Anglia for a while, and even helped set up the Al Jazeera TV channel in his later years. But as his wife Rita says, amateur radio was his main hobby for all of his life, and especially used when Paul travelled abroad for television documentaries and productions. He also made this wonderful ATU for the club's field days, and has now given that, in fact, to NARC. So you can see he's standing his President's Cup trophy on top of that, but that's a full rack height unit that he made, which we've used in many field days, and you can see it in that picture in his garage. Paul's funeral is in Hingham at midday on Tuesday the 18th of March, and I will give you more details nearer the time, but that's the main details. I've also been asked to present a short tribute on his career and amateur radio at his funeral, so would really appreciate any anecdotes you have for him. Many of you will know that his nickname, certainly in broadcasting, was Chop Chop, and that sort of carried over really to his amateur radio world, and I can't think that he took it badly, because I was slightly surprised to see that the BBC, when they showed a tribute after Look East the other night, which he directed for many years, actually also put Chop Chop in brackets, so I'm not sure I'd have had the guts to do that. But anyway, that was Paul. If you have any anecdotes or stories about Paul that you'd like me to share at his funeral, please do let me have them. And now I also have to bring details of someone else who we have lost in the amateur radio community. John Hamilton, G4JSD. Now, John wasn't a member of NARC, at least for some time, but you may recognise his face. He was an amateur who hasn't been terribly active in the hobby by his own admission, but by strange coincidence, just over a week ago at the Norwich Science Festival at our display, he came to see our display with his wife Shirley, and also brought his grandchildren to see it, and talked to Jim G3YLA and also Steve G3EVA, who was there at the time. He actually is quite a near neighbour of Steve's. But tragically, John died suddenly at home the very next evening after the Science Festival. I don't know much more about John, to be honest, but if you knew him and you'd like more details of the funeral, I have sent a club card and we'll be happy to relay them to you. That's John, G4JSD. And finally, the last time we met on NARC Live, I brought you the news that Michael M3ILY had passed away. I now have details of his funeral, which is on Thursday, the 13th of March at 12:30 at Earlham Cemetery. And he is the gentleman, if you remember, who 2 years ago he donated his FT1000 to the club to loan to people who couldn't afford their own radio. And in fact, one of our young members has got that at the moment on loan. Tammy and I went to pick it up from him. But Mike's funeral is on Thursday the 13th of March at 12:30 at Earlham Cemetery. It'd be wonderful if some club members can go along to that as well. I will put all of this on an update on the newsletter as we get more information. Our thoughts, of course, with all of these people's family and friends and these terrible losses. Now, as I said, last Monday week we had our science festival in Norwich and we put on a big display. We've now got some video of that and a couple of pictures as well. If you can see, if you didn't come and see us at the forum, although quite a few people did. The forum, of course, is in central Norwich and quite near Peter Mancroft Church. And we had a big display there. So here's some pictures anyway, which we'll talk you through. So it was manned by Martin, G7UGB, James, M0UKS, Jim, G3YLA, with his back to us there, Tammy and myself. And you can see some of the things that we were showing people there. This is a general science display, so we weren't just showing amateur radio in its pure sense. We were trying to show what amateur radio was really all about. We showed Morse code, we showed how satellites worked, we showed APRS. This first display here was James's, and that is on APRS, which is using GPS to send out packets of information over amateur radio. We take things like tracking for granted now, but that's what we're showing. Next was an SDR display because we couldn't fit radio aerials in there, so Martin arranged this display using a web SDR. And there's a typical transceiver. We were just showing people what you could do. This is the insides of an iPhone that we bought on eBay and took apart, and then on the back of that is an insides of a Baofeng handheld to show the similarities. And this is some of the electronic components and kits that Tammy displayed, things that everybody could make, a moving display on what the club offers, and finally Morse, CW, which actually young people are always fascinated with. They're always fascinated with Morse code. They can send each other messages, send their parents messages or their friends or whatever there, and we give them a little certificate at the end as well with the code on the back so that they can go away and use that code at home as well to try and keep that part of the hobby alive. Now, while we were there, we actually saw the BBC had a stand across the other side of the atrium at the forum, and this is sort of what it looked like from a distance. And when I saw that, I was curious, went to have a look at what it was, and I thought this might interest somebody who's on our stand. So Jim Bacon, you can see there, just looking on, I think with envy really, and curiosity at this young person learning how to read the weather, with an auto cue and a green screen and everything behind them. And I just thought, wouldn't it be fun if Jim had a go? Let's have a look at this little video of what happened when Jim went to the forum to have a look.
Yeah, well, okay, if it's that bad. Which way is north? Is that right?
That's probably
That's
the car park. That must be north.
Well, this is good new technology. Yeah, I do actually. So it reflects. Yeah. There we go. Hello. Well, there we have it. Big BBC looking extravaganza.
He sort of looked quite at home there, I thought, actually, weirdly, and a few people looking on looked a bit bemused as well. One thing we didn't find out really is what the BBC thought, because this is like a kind of audition, really. I mean, I thought you did quite well, didn't you, Tammy?
Yeah, not too bad.
You didn't do too bad. Well, we haven't had... Oh, actually... No, hang on a minute, I've just got to... Hello? Oh, yes, so we've just been showing it. Yeah, how did Jim get on? Okay, thank you. Apparently they'll let him know. It was good fun at the Science Festival. Thanks, Jim, for being such a great sport. I think it shocked Ian there on the BBC stand when he walks up with it. But anyway, it was lovely display. And most importantly, of course, we were there to show what our hobby was all about to a lot of young people especially who are interested in science. And this is one of the few hobbies, I reckon, which people could get into to learn more about science and electronics and things like that. That's the club news. Now just to give you a bit of details from members. And first up, we've got a radio here, which many of you will know what it is. It's called an HRO. It's a classic radio. Now, Martin, G7UGB, went to collect one of those other R17 receivers a week or so ago, and he saw the museum were going to dispose of this. They'd like a small donation for it, but it's in really excellent condition. Look at this inside that. That's like pristine factory condition, I reckon. Martin has this, and he's going to just try and raise a few funds for the Flixton Museum, who owned it. So if that interests you, we're not looking at lots of money or anything like that. He just wanted to really save it from being scrapped. So if that interests you, get in touch with me or Martin direct if you have his details. And Martin could bring it along to the club at our next meeting, which is actually next Wednesday, if you're interested in that. And finally, from members news, we heard from Bob, G6PWS today, with some pictures of what rather looks like a very tame fox in his garden. Have a look at this.
Sitting at the door looking in.
Isn't that fantastic? Look at the picture on the left. And he must have been in there
really
taking
pretty,
a picture, so really, yeah, lovely. And there's another picture, I think, a couple of pictures.
Yeah, basking in the sun.
Look at that. Bob, I want to find out where you live, because you've got sun there. Not different to what we've got today.
It's steroids today.
Yes, absolutely. Anyway, Bob, thank you very much for sharing that. As always, we ask you to share your pictures and stories and things with us for NARC Live. It's a nice thing to show at the beginning of our show. Now, at this time, we always go to Tammy, though, for find out about little people I haven't seen at all this side. It'll be a surprise as much to me as it is to you at home.
It's the little people this week. It's topical in some places. I thought it looked cool.
Oh, it is cool. It's a shuttle.
Do you know what it is, though, underneath it?
Earwax?
Earwax.
No. Cotton wool? I don't know. Snow?
It's snow.
It
Real
is snow.
Yeah. Because obviously they're based in Japan, and Japan had a lot of snow. Was it about last week or the week before?
Yeah, they did.
So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, this is the Japanese website, miniature-calendar.com. It really is an innovative picture every day. Tammy picks one out for us. And it's great that we can show these. That's really good, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, it's cool.
Lovely, thanks very much. So, as I said, please keep in touch with what you're doing. You can drop us a line at any time to this address, radio@dcpmicro.com, at the bottom of your screens now. We'd love to hear from you. Pictures, stories, anything like that. It's just to keep everybody connected and share interesting news and stories. Okay, so now we're going to go to the competition that we asked 2 weeks ago, when we asked. I can hold this up actually as well. You know you've got a picture there.
Well, just wait.
All right. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. When I asked you, what on earth is this? Now, we've had quite a few entries. Let's have a look and see if anybody
There was one on
else.
there, I think, from Andy.
Oh, Andy M0NK says, what is this? Is it a type of bulb or fuse? Okay. Nothing at all on it. BATC, they're all very quiet on there. We've got 48 people watching live on BATC and not one comment or good evening or anything. I hope you're all there and awake. Anyway, let's then read out the entries that we had. So, Tom G8XQD says, looks old, maybe a TDR or a VDR, in brackets a thermistor or temperature or voltage dependent resistor, something to regulate the voltage or current drawn by a valve, radio or amplifier circuit. Steve G3EVA says, is the mystery object a vacuum resistor?
Simon M0SIH, I think the object is a Geiger-Müller tube. A GM tube is used to detect ionizing radiation.
Bob G6PWS says, I think this is some kind of fuse. It looks blown as there's a gap in the left side inner cutout from its appearance. From its appearance, an old radio or electrical system.
Sorry, I've lost where we are.
Bruce, I know you're getting a camera ready so we can show. Bruce G4KZT, I think the mystery object could be a Geiger tube. And Stan G4BW says, it looks like a halogen bulb where the element has vaporized and condensed out of the internal glass surface. I've replaced several of these over the years, but then he says, but could it be something else? Well, that pretty much covers it then, doesn't it? Anyway, we're now going to reveal formally what it is, and it is
a
vacuum resistor.
So I didn't show you the side that said 10,000 on it, but I've got, if I find the right camera.
We've got a little camera set up here, and this is it for real.
So you can see the actual size of it.
We thought that would have given it away. Martin G7UGB gave us this, and you'll know his son is the man from the wonderful Retro Electro Workshop, and so deals with old equipment all the time. I'll admit, I mean, I've been in electronics pretty much all my life, certainly into my professional life, and I wouldn't have known what that was at all. I've never seen a resistor like that. I'd have probably guessed a Geiger Miller tube or some kind of discharge tube or something like that. We've shown this, and this is my Pancorn, by the way.
Is that?
Just because the last time I showed one of these, you nicked it. This is just to give you an idea of the size, which might have helped. I would have said probably a gas discharge tube or something like that. But there we are. It's a resistor of old types. Not quite sure how old, but pretty old. So the only person to get that right actually this week was Steve G3VA. Thank you very much for giving that to us, Martin, to show. I shall bring that back to you at the next club meeting. Someone else has guessed. I'm sorry, Kev, you're a bit late for it, but you said it was an elapsed time indicator. Yes, I've seen that sort of thing as well, but it isn't, I'm afraid. It is that resistor. Thanks very much indeed.
So we'll show you next week?
We will show next week. So I hadn't forgotten. I've got the script in front of me. So let's have a look now at what we're going to say for the next competition when we ask you, what on earth is this? What is it, or what's it for, or both, ideally? You've got just under 2 weeks to let us know. Let us know by 3 o'clock on Wednesday week what you think that is. There's going to be some clever ones amongst you who knows what that is or what it's for. Drop a line to radio@dcpmicro.com. As I said, by 3 o'clock, the latest pleased on Wednesday week. And we will be pleased to reveal what it is then. Almost time for our guest tonight, but just to let you know what's happening at the club this coming week. Sunday at 7 p.m, it's the GB2RS News on GB3MB repeater. Also on the repeater at 7:30 on Monday, it's our Monday Night Net. And remember, by the way, that Steve G3VA is running most of the nets at the moment, but it's really great if other people can give him a break and share it out. It's easy to run a net. You've just got to keep a simple log, really. That's all there is to it. But anyway, that's 7:30 on Monday. 8 o'clock, we've got the CW net on 3.543 megahertz. And then next Wednesday, March the 5th, I can exclusively reveal here, we are having a tabletop sale at CNS School. That's the last one we had was in November, and we thought it's about time now. And a few people have asked me recently, they've got some equipment to sell, maybe some silent key things and things like that. So we're running a tabletop sale Wednesday. It's absolutely free to attend, buy and sell for all current 2025 paid up members. And if you keep meaning to join and you haven't yet, you'll even be able to join on the night. That's all we ask really. And it, by the way, it is just £10 to join our club for the whole year. So that's next Wednesday between 7 and 9:30, not before please, at the City of Norwich School and our usual sixth form common room. And of course we still have our card. We send at least one of these a week, I'd say on average. We'll send these to anybody who you think will be cheered by a card from Norfolk Amateur Radio Club. And please send us your mystery objects as well for what on earth is this, and any other news for our show. Now we're going to meet our guest for this evening. He's quite a local boy. Sometimes we have speakers from all over the globe on this show, but our man tonight comes from just a bit east to us on the east coast. Sorry, it's Jason 2E0JIV, and he's going to tell us all about bunkers on the air. Hello, Jason.
Yeah, hi. Good evening, everybody.
Lovely to see you. Thank you very much for joining us here on NARC Live. I said you are quite a local boy, aren't you?
Yes, I'm down in Borough Castle.
Good.
Obviously, which is sort of in between Gorton and Lowestoft.
Yeah, so just a few miles from us. But you're going to talk to us tonight about bunkers on the air, and I don't think there can be many amateurs left now who haven't heard of this bunkers on the air or BOTA. But wouldn't you agree that just even, say, 2 years ago, I think hardly anybody seemed to have heard of it. Is that fair?
Exactly, yes. I mean, 2 years ago, we hadn't even launched. We're probably we're now getting to our 18th month of being, what we are now. But the scheme itself has been around prior to United Kingdom bunkers on there, which I'll go through. Want to go through the slides?
Yeah, lovely. Well, we're going to leave it to you. But as always, if you're watching this on Wednesday, then you're watching this live. You'll be able to ask questions at any time during Jason's presentation, and we'll read them to him at the end. But now, Jason, over to you. Let's find out more about bunkers on the air.
Brilliant, thank you. So, good evening, everybody. My name's Jason, 2E0JIV. I'm the Communications and Outreach Representative, United Kingdom Bunkers on the Air. As already mentioned, you've probably all heard of bunkers on the air, but you're probably wondering what exactly is it. The guys in Norfolk will especially have heard it from Golf 3 PXT Gordon. He's carping on about it all the time, and he's one of our very, very active activators. So United Kingdom bunkers on the air. In its current form, it's approaching its 18-month periods. But the actual scheme itself goes back to almost 20, well, it is 20 years ago. And it was originally the brainchild of Brian, Golf 8 GMU, and his grandson, Joshua, M3 HBM. Now, they came up with the concept of activating bunkers local to their area. And they're based out in Coventry. Now, the scheme or the idea then moved into castles and stately homes in around about 2010, but it didn't really take off. And it wasn't until October the 1st, 2023, which Bill M0DXT, our boss, decided to sort of revamp and relaunch the scheme. So the scheme itself then, the admin team is Bill, we've already mentioned, M0DXT. He was the guy who had the vision to start activating bunkers. Carl M0ICR, he is our reference guru. So he'll sort of, when the bunkers are submitted or people submit what they'd like to have as a bunker. He will do all the research, do all the mapping. He also designs all our fantastic awards and make sure the sort of front end of any of the website is working absolutely outstanding. Mark M0 XIC, Awards Manager. Some of you may know Mark because he's also heavily involved with the 145 Alive scheme, but he's our awards manager. So any awards that you get come directly from him. He deals with all looking into the awards and processing and issuing. Phil, Gold 7 TVB, he's our database IT support guy, and he also runs our merchandise. Yes, we do have merchandise as well, which when you get into the website, you can have a look, and that will take you to a link to where our merchandise can be purchased from. At the moment, if anyone is going to look at our website, currently ukboater.org is the only one that's up and visible at this present time. Now, the reason for that is because we're in the middle of migrating, so I don't want people to start looking at websites and say, well, there's nothing there, it's out of order. It's out of order because we're actually in the process of migrating from one host to another. Obviously, myself, Communications Outreach. I've written an article for Private Wire magazine. I've got us a table up at the Hamfest this year, which is in the process of being finalised. And I try and do all the sort of communications out towards the clubs. Rob, M1EGP sponsorship. So Rob's role within the team, he's our liaison between our sponsor, which is M1ECC Antennas. So the first site then, we have multiple sites, multiple sites. We have 2 sites, but the first site that you should really look at first, if you're interested in bunkers, is UK Boater. So the UK Boater site is our landing point. On this page, you get to see all the information on the rules, how to activate, how to hunt, also all the downloads. We also list on there up and coming events, also the links to other parts of our website. This, like I say, is the landing point. This is where you need to go to read the rules, because some of the rules are slightly different depending on what type of award you're going for. The next site is this is the workhorse of UK Boater. All right, and this is the bunker-based site. On this site, this is where the activators and hunters have their own portals to be able to actually upload all their logs. So what we've got here is the left-hand picture. It just gives you a snapshot of the landing page for the bunker-based site. The right-hand picture, this is the dashboard specifically designed for a hunter. So in there, the hunter input is call, his call, who he's chased, so the activator's call sign, the region where the bunker was, the bunker reference, the date, what band and what mode. Next to that, you'll see some sort of award tokens. So every time a activator or a bunker records their log, the system automatically updates, so they always get a clear figure of what or how far they've reached within the scheme. And these tokens will change, obviously the scores will change when they reach the specific point qualifying for a certain award. Those tokens will change over. Underneath that, we have the table. You can see this table on the hunter's dashboard just allows hunter to see what he's worked previously, so he can have a running list of his daily record, who he's worked, what bunkers he's worked, and then you can look at further down the line for previous hunts that he's done. The activators is pretty much a mirror copy of the hunter's dashboard, apart from a few fields, for adding different information, but it works exactly the same way. As the activator progresses through the award scheme, the scores tally up automatically, and then he's displayed what award he's able to claim. Great thing about our scheme is, unlike POTA, the hunter does not have to wait for the activator to upload his log. It's completely based around the hunter and the activator, so the two are independent. One does not have to wait for the other. Social media. So on the social media side, then we have obviously a Facebook page, where again you can get all the information on the actual scheme. Members upload their activation reports, and general sort of Facebook style information. We also have our own dedicated WhatsApp group. So we have two WhatsApp groups, and one of them I'm not going to carp on too much about at the moment, but the first one is our general or UK Boater general chat, and it's just a get together for all the members, but it's a sensible get together. On that site, we'll put information about any sort of activators that are going out, where they're on, and spot them on that site as well. The main site, though, for spotting on the WhatsApp side is the cluster spots and alerts. So we have another channel which is specifically for spotting and alerting. So when an activator's out, it will go up onto either of these channels and it'll be purely visible. So if you're looking at joining the scheme, it's definitely worthwhile getting onto the website. Joining on the websites, the bunker-based website is the only one you'll need to register on, and that's purely because of the tables and the input systems. Obviously the Facebook page, join the Facebook page, and then come across to the WhatsApp. The WhatsApp is extremely handy, and it lets you know what's going on at that time and currently. The mapping system. So we've produced, or Carl's produced, a mapping system which goes specifically for our bunkers. So the first picture on the left there, that is East Anglia. You can see how highly populated the area is. Originally the scheme started off with rock bunkers, the Royal Observer Corps nuclear monitoring post, and then slowly, as time's gone on, we've added more and more bunkers to it. Civil defence bunkers, we've got air raid cluster, air raid clusters, we've got pillbox clusters. We tend not to add single pillboxes unless they are there for a specific reason, as in a defence of an airfield or a defence of a key point installation. There's also on the list we have civil emergency bunker locations. Other Cold War, there's rotor radar. On the map on the left then there's a mixture of blue and yellow, so the yellow just indicates this is a snapshot of our latest version of the map, version 8. All the yellow are new bunkers which are going to go live as from the 1st of March. The picture on the right then just shows you that KLM file or the Google Earth file zoomed in. So when you actually click onto one of the bunkers, it will bring up this dialog box, and within the dialog box it gives you the title of that bunker, but it also gives you all the lat and long and what free words, all the information you need to navigate to it. So if you're not using Google Earth to navigate, you can just take that information out, especially the what free words, put it into your what free words app and it will take you to that site. So activating itself then, 2 pictures here. If we concentrate on the one on the left, so the one on the left has been zoomed right in. So we've got the bunker Bravo Golf 0976 in the middle there. Outside that bunker, you've got this blue circle. Now that blue circle is our activation zone. So anything within inside that blue circle is where you can activate from. Obviously, you want to get close as you can to the bunkers, but that will depend on the safety, whether there's site restrictions, all the rest of it. But as long as you are within that blue circle, that's a valid activation. The picture on the right here, we see 2 bunkers. Now, we've got multiple sites where it's not just one bunker. You've got multiple bunkers that interloop with each other. So on that one, if you were to activate anywhere around the orange triangle, you would only be activating Bravo Golf 1190. If you went anywhere near the blue triangle in that area there, you're activating Bravo Golf 1702. But if you get yourself smack bang in the middle where those 2 circles intersect, you're activating 2 bunkers. So you're getting 2 bunkers for the price of 1, basically. Okay, tools that we employ. So M1SDH, Steve Hiscox has developed this amazing mapping system, portable hand map. The beauty of this, it's got all our references on, but you can also toggle on and off other on-the-air schemes. So a lot of the activators use this because they can toggle on parks on the air, and it will bring that up as well. And you can see where the 2 schemes sort of align. So you can go out, have a look to activate a bunker, and suddenly see you're within the boundaries of the park. So why not do the 2 activations in the 1? We're totally open to that. We have, we're not going to say you can't do it. We encourage people to enjoy the hobby. Now, enjoying the hobby is doing as much as you can. So if you can activate a bunker and activate a park at the same time, that's absolutely fantastic. On the right hand side, our activators tend to use Ham2K, the Polo app. This app, and I believe Steve is something to do with the development of it. What it does, it scrapes all the bunker references off our database so that they're pre-installed in there. So you land on site, start your or click to load up your log. You can click on the site where you are, and it will load the details in. It also scrapes from our cluster, so it will show where other people are activated. If there's anyone else activating, that will show up on the app as well. So which way do you want to go? As an activator, you need to visit UK BOTA website, obviously, to read the rules. Like I say, the rules are slightly different for different type of awards you're going for. The VHF or the HF awards, and then we have different award schemes and special award events. Okay, so UK BOTA first. Once you've read the rules and decided which way, whether you want to activate or hunt, get yourself across to Bunker Base, which is www.bunkerbase.org. register there. That's where you'll be able to actually upload all your logs and actually keep an eye on your progress. Obviously, read the rules. There is a slight difference between number of QSOs for a VHF activation and obviously a number of QSOs for an HF activation. So read the rules and make sure you know which scheme you're actually going for and sort of tie in with that. Decide exactly where you want to activate. Look at the Google Earth map, find something local to you. Go out, do a recce on it, go out and activate it. Obviously, keep in mind safety. Don't go into the bunkers. We'll say that now. A lot of these structures are extremely old, and unless you're getting a guided visit, it just is not worth your own personal safety by entering it. And obviously, make sure you've got access to that land. Some of the bunkers are within private land, but you can look at the KLM, the Google Earth map, and you'll see that you're able to activate that bunker within that 1 kilometre circle. Set your station up. Spot yourself. Okay, so on there we've got Worldwide Boater Cluster or WhatsApp. I'm going to move on to that a little bit later on, but we do have a cluster which is available to us where you can spot. Also on a WhatsApp channel as well, we can spot on there. Start calling CQ bunkers on the air, log your contacts, watch, go back to the bunker base, check your scores. Once you've got the scores for a certain award you're going for, obviously put the claim in for that award. The award will come via email in a PDF format, and they are superb awards. If you're a hunter or a shortwave listener, similar sort of process. Go to UK Boater first, read the rules, go across to bunker base, register yourself on bunker base. Start searching for contacts by looking at the cluster, looking at the WhatsApp. Okay, log those contacts, and again apply for awards. And most importantly, have fun. It's amateur radio, so it needs to be fun. Okay, so just an example of some of the awards we've got on offer. These two awards here, the one on the left, that is the bronze annual award for a hunter. The one on the right is the Activators Bronze Annual Award that we offer. I mentioned VHF, so two examples of VHF awards there. So the one on the left is for the Activators Bronze VHF, and the one on the right is for the Hunters VHF. It doesn't just end there. So I'm just showing you the annual awards. We also have lifetime awards, so the tallies just keep building up, and you claim those awards as and when you reach that point. We have the Night Owl Awards, which is extremely popular. It's get out, activate a bunker after 1900 and before 0700 in the morning. Obviously, nighttime has its own challenges anyway. Generally, the guys go out and 80 meters is probably when you're portable is probably the only way you're going to do that. But it's enjoyable. Go out and do it. The award on the right is the Bunker Tier Award. So Bunker Tier 2025. This is an absolutely amazing award scheme which we've launched this year. This takes the activator, and it's an activators only award, but this takes the activator out of his comfort zone. So we can just, what we'll do now is just put up a short video. It'll just go through the Bunker Tier award. When it's finished, I'll just do a bit more talk on that award, and then we'll move on with the slides. we have it. There's the video for. There's the video for the Bunketeer Award. Now, like I said, the Bunketeer Award is designed to take the activator outside his comfort zone. It may have been a bit quick reading off the screen there, but the award we have 50 tasks within that award, and each of those tasks has a value of 1 point, and you just over the year start chipping through those tasks. But those tasks are hard. For argument's sake, there's operating on all the operating HF through the bands. There's tasks where you operate VHF. There's tasks where you operate multiple bunker locations. Combine them with lighthouses. Combine them with parks. There's activations for data modes, CW modes, and there's also an SSTV activation. Straight away, it's now for me to get anywhere on this award, I've got to get my head around CW. It's something I've never touched, but I want to progress on that award, so it's something I'm going to have to look into now, just purely so I can progress through that award. The awards also have bonuses attached to them, so there are bonuses. Monthly bonuses. So every month, Carl will come up with a specific task which is only valid for that month. This month was activating for Atnos. Once you'd activated the 4 Atnos, you then got the bonus points. Other bonuses within there is things like giving a presentation to your club or a talk to your club. There's a bonus point system for that. There's bonus point for the activators to actually create an activation report and then upload that to our wiki site. We also have in there an area for bonus area for newcomers. People have just been licensed, just become radio operators. So to help them sort of gain more knowledge and more experience, there's little tasks in there tailored for them, and these tasks are sort of are in line with the RSGB logbook and brickworks sort of schemes. So there are all sorts of things to sort of help the newly licensed hams sort of progress through the activity. But you can see this particular award, it is designed to take an activator outside of his comfort zone, because there's stuff in there which you may not ever have done, or if you have, you've done it at home in your shack. It's not something that you've actually gone and sat in the field and done either out under the clouds or inside your vehicle. Okay, the next video we're going to play is the Mad March Hare. This is our special event which starts on the 1st of March, and the community is extremely looking forward to this. This is going to be a mad one. It's one of Carl's brainchilds, and this is just going to be absolutely crazy. So we can just play this video.
Hidden in the caverns of the Cotswold countryside, the Mad March Hare is preparing his plan. Little do the activators and hunters know that this month will be harder than ever. The Mad March Hare is applying multipliers and bonuses hidden within his challenge. Only a cunning approach will defeat the challenges set by the hare and allow new masters to step from the darkened shadows and walk forward as conquerors of the Mad March Hare. Will you rise to the challenge? Can you defeat the hare? Will you reign victorious in this most despicable of events? Only you will know. Join UK Boater for the Mad March Hare event.
And so the Mad March Hare event, I say, it launches on the 1st of March. This is it's going to be an exciting award scheme or awards event. We've seen it with the community that there's everyone's really looking forward to it. So unlike just going out and activating from a bunker and scoring the point for your qualifying QSOs, what Carl has done here is made it quite cunning. The point scoring is extremely high, but to get that point scoring, you're going to have to actually think about how you want to activate and where you're going to activate. So there are a number of multipliers in there. There's multipliers added for activating VHF and HF together, so one activation and then moving on to the other activation. There are multipliers added for activating large grid squares. So unlike the WOB squares, large grid squares are the area which those WOB squares contained in. So we're Tango Golf. So Tango Golf, the area I'm in, it's just that area. So it's that 100 kilometre grid square. This is going to be a really, really exciting event. Obviously, you've got the participation level all the way up to master. I'd be very surprised if anyone actually does get a master, but you know, if activators go out, and especially the way Gordon did over our Christmas one, there's a chance for people to get in it. But yeah, this one's going to take a lot of planning. Now with this, because of the scoring system Carl has produced, which is downloadable off the UK Boater site, a tracker which will do all the calculations for you, whether you're an activator or a hunter. You put in the details on the tracker, it will automatically calculate and tally up that score for you. So there's no trying to, well, think, well, do I get a multiplier for this or do for that? That's all done for you. So Mad March Hare event, definitely get involved in it. Go onto UK Boater, download the tracker, read all the rules. There's a link on that page which will take you to the Mad March Hare event and will give you more details on it. 1st of March. Okay, so throughout the rest of the year, just a quick snapshot of what we've got going for the rest of the year. So in May, we'll have our historic counties. So that's a really, really good event. Again, there's a multiplier applied to that. So easiest way of explaining that, I have a bunker down the road from me in which goes live on Monday in Borough Castle. That is currently listed as Norfolk. So the historic counties, what we do is roll it back to what that county was originally. So that county will no longer, so that bunker will no longer be in Norfolk because we're going back to the historic counties. That will be in Suffolk. So it's a little bit tricky. Well, it's not tricky, but the activators and hunters sort of need to see what's going on and look at the map and look at where the bunker is situated pre 1976, when obviously we changed to the new county system. 8th of May, I'm running. This is going to be a participation only for activators, shortwave listeners, and hunters. It's just a commemoration award for the 80th anniversary or 80th anniversary commemoration for BE Day. Later on in the year, October, we've got our superb rock event, which is the Royal Observer Corps. So the Royal Observer Corps 25, extremely popular event. November, I'll probably put in another Lest We Forget event. Last year, I went out and raised money for the Royal British Legion, and over the week of activating, I managed to raise £500 or over £500, which I donated to the Royal British Legion. And again, that specific event is just a participation only. So there's no having to activate X amount of bunkers. It's literally go out, activate a bunker or hunt a bunker, and then the awards available. And like I say, all the awards are claimed through our awards manager, Mark. What's next? You. And it's as simple as that. Go onto the websites, onto the UK Boater website, read the rules, decide whether you want to be an activator or you want to be a hunter or you want to do a bit of both. But if you haven't looked at the scheme, please just go ahead and look at it and speak to Gordon. If you speak to Gordon, he'll just completely blow your mind with it. The scheme is it's a trustworthy scheme. We're not you don't have to upload logs. We treat you. You're treated as adults on the scheme. Go across to the website, have a look, and then get involved. I'll just run through a couple of pictures. So these are just pictures of some of the setups the activators employ. Okay, so Bunkers on the Air doesn't end with UK Boater. So last year, sort of summer last year, the popularity of the scheme grew exponentially, and Carl was getting messages from overseas, especially around Europe. How can we get involved and how can we run our own scheme? And a multitude of our hunters were from, especially Belgium area. But in Europe, the nationals were saying, "How can we get involved? Can we sort up? Can we start our own scheme up?" So Carl came up with the idea and put together the worldwide Bunkers on the Air. So worldwide Bunkers on the Air, we have got 12, including the UK. There's 12 partners within it. The UK, Belgium, the Czech Republic, Slovenia, North Macedonia, and Albania. Each of those countries are running their own schemes, but their schemes are also tied in with award schemes run by the worldwide Bunkers on the Air. Okay, France, Italy, Norway, Ireland, Netherlands and Romania have just gone live with us on the last week or so and just polishing off, but they are now a live member of the Worldwide Boater family. Worldwide Boater has, again, its own individual website. It's the site, obviously, is tailored around the other schemes, so it has links, obviously, to all the national schemes. But the best thing about this, or one of the most important things about this scheme, this is where we have a cluster. So before I spoke about spotting yourself, this is where you'll be able to spot yourself. So it's a registration site. You need to register it, but once you register into it, it'll give you access to the cluster. So on the site, on the cluster page, we have a live cluster which is running throughout the day, where you can actually place in your proposed activations. You can see live spots and live alerts. Activators simply, or a hunter who's just heard that activator can update the update the cluster. It's just a case of filling in a small form, pop-up form, putting the details in there, hitting OK, and that will automatically load it onto our cluster. The cluster also has an audible warning on it, so a lot of the hunters will have this cluster up and running in the background. Once a spot's been placed, they'll get an audible tone or a audible voice telling them a spot that's been placed on a bunker, spot's been placed on the cluster, then they can go and have a look at and start chasing that particular activator. So I'll draw to a close, and what I'll do now is I'll hand it back over to David and answer your questions. But thank you for listening. If there's any questions, obviously I'll get back and answer them. If there's any questions I can't answer at this particular time, QRZ.com has got my email address. By all means, fire across an email to me, but definitely go on to UK Boater website, have a look at that, have a read of the rules, register yourself on Bunker Base website, and move across and register yourself on the Worldwide Bunker site as well. Get out but activating and hunting.
Brilliant, Jason. What a good way to sum up as well. It's fascinating. I mean, I've heard it obviously a lot as being chairman of our Norfolk club, a lot more mention. I haven't really experienced any of it myself firsthand yet, but I hear it much more mentioned. As you say, Gordon is a great ambassador for that aspect of the hobby, and it sort of seems to have brought fun back into it. And also, there's lots of special events that happen on our hobby, aren't there? Special weekends and things like that, but they're not always happening all throughout the year. This is happening, as far as I can see, at any time. So there's something that you can always do as a challenge. Anyway, if you've enjoyed Jason's talk and you've got any questions, or maybe you've got some experience of BOTA and you want to share it with us, then pop it now onto either the BATC or onto Facebook, and we'll be happy to relay those to Jason now. So thanks once again, excuse me, Jason, for a great presentation. I know you've covered most things, actually, because I've written some questions down and I've scribbled a lot of them out. But the main bands on there, I mean, I know I did see a slide with the bands on there. I think a lot of us are quite concerned about the lack of use generally on VHF. And obviously there are things like the 145 Alive band, events and things, but they're only relatively infrequently. This seems to me also something, and that was one of the bands on that list, as something great you could run with fairly locally with VHF and UHF.
Yes. So we have the VHF awards. So we've lowered the amount of QSOs required to activate the bunker, but there's awards specifically for activated and hunting VHF. Also within the bunker tier award, there's VHF tasks, within that award platform as well. It's probably this month, maybe sort of January onwards. That has become quite a favourable thing from a lot of our activators. They're going out and operating on VHF.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the term as well, bunker tier. I think that's really good. I haven't actually heard that before. So that's a really good name for it. We've got a couple of comments already. Firstly, Tony Hodge says, nice talk from Jason. He's M0TNI. Thank you very much for that. And I know lots of other people are saying the same. Brian M7SEY says, I used to bunk off school, so I may give it a go. I know I've heard a lot on the Kiwi SDR over the last couple of months, and also followed G3PXT Portable, which is Gordon, of course, for the Advent Calendar Award. He says that it's a good project, well done. When he finally gets 10, 20 and 40 antennas set up at the new QTH, he says he'll join in as a hunter, as he's done my bit of gathering, so to speak. That's what Brian says. I've got another thing here. David 2E0JIV. He says, assume this is open to casual callers, i.e. you don't have to be a registered hunter, and would a casual caller help activators count total?
Yeah, absolutely. You don't have to be, a registered hunter. You're answering a CQ call. The more people that call in, the merrier for the activator. But sort of, I can see where the sort of, do I want to get involved? Do I need to register and all the rest of it? Do I want to collect awards? I mean, that's your own personal choice. But if you are to join, you'll get to see where all these activations, and it's amateur radio. You're making contact with other people, and that's a good thing. Talking is a good thing.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the mapping itself. Is that automatic almost from the activators? I know that you said you get a beep and a tone if you do, but is that fairly an automatic process, updating the map?
Well, sorry, the beep and the tone, that's on the cluster. So
okay.
Yeah, on the cluster. So when a spot is placed onto the cluster, there is an audible alert which comes up to let the hunters or activators know that a spot has been placed in there. With the mapping, that is it's not automated. So Carl spends the time, puts all the references in, builds the KLM file for Google Earth. You download that from the website, open up Google Earth, and it will bring it up on there. So that process is we look at periodically. We look at what bunkers we've got. Carl will look at requests that come in from the members. So and so will say, I've got a bunker which isn't listed in my area. Could we add that to the reference list? Cole will go away and do all the research on that bunker to see whether it's a viable location. If it is, when we go round to the next round of map updates, it'll add that bunker onto that map.
Okay, that's good. Thank you for explaining that, Jason. That's one thing I wasn't too clear on. Mike M7TTT says loves the idea of doing it on VHF, Jason, and he says we just need to use more VHF, which is what I kind of was saying. Really, there's a lot of concern about those bands. This does seem a really good activity to use for that. Paul G3VPT says in the 1950s there was a World War II wooden antenna mast, part of a chain home system. Is this a bunker?
So the bunker will be underneath it. Or it will be part of the surrounding architecture of that site. So, generally, the chain home radar sites, Second World War, were sat there listening out, for aircraft movements and monitoring the skies. The operators of those sites obviously needed somewhere to be protected. Now, a lot of them had sort of semi-submerged bunker underneath it. There was also a bunker where the equipment, so the generator would have been housed. Some of the actual antenna equipment would have been housed slightly. And the definition of a bunker is quite a vague one, although the way you look at it is if the structure is there to provide those inside and those using that structure a form of defence from aerial bombardment or even ground bombardment. It doesn't have to be the sort of common picture of a bunker, say, being 20 metres under the ground, nuclear proof and all the rest of it. That is just a type of bunker. There are several different structures which you can class as a bunker. And that's where Carl comes in. He will, let's say, does the research. Pillboxes, for sake, I mentioned about pillboxes. We can't include every single pillbox, but they loosely fit the sort of remits of bunker, but to include every one of those would be absolutely crazy. So we include the clusters rather than the individual structure itself. But the site probably had some form of protection, whether it be above ground, sort of semi-sunken or fully subterranean, but it would have had some sort of protection structure designed to protect the occupants and the operators inside.
Thank you very much for that, and thanks for the question, Paul, as well. Reminded now, because we're coming towards the end of our program, so if you have a question or comment for Jason, especially if you done some really good stuff and found a really nice bunker to work from, whatever, do share it with us now. Mark M3ARK says, are there any suggested or regular frequencies used for this, or is that just open? I think we did touch on that briefly earlier on, but can you talk about the bands?
Yes, so it is open. Activators generally work on the 40 metres, 40 metre band. It's great. Great for where we are. Gets congested, but you find a spare frequency, but it's not confined to 40 metres. So on the bunker tier awards, the portion of that is that's activated on 80, 40, 20, 15, 10, and then going into the VHF, 6 metres, 2 metres. There's all different sort of bands, areas where you can activate. But most activators start on 40, will do their QSOs, collect the QSOs they need on 40, and move to 20. Just to mop up a lot of our European partners. Some of them haven't got the ability to use 40 metres, so we'll then I'll do myself move on to 20 metres just so it gives them the opportunity to hunt me as well. But no, there's no set band, there's no set operating procedure. It's what your license allows you to do.
Good. Now I don't want to be a damp squib here, but and maybe it's just because I'm the chairman of a radio club or some of the other activities, and I'm just a little bit worried about safety of some of these because some of them are quite remote. And I guess, there's some probably good general safety advice, isn't there? Maybe not go to some of these bunkers alone and do it. What sort of other advice do you give?
Well, I don't know. So the advice we would say is don't go into the bunkers. There's bunkers all the way around. That you'll get there and they're open. Don't go in. It's not worth the risk. By all means, have a walk around, take take some nice pictures, find a nice spot, to activate from. But your safety's paramount. We discourage people from going into the bunkers. And to be honest, I've not seen pictures of activators posting on socials of bunkers they've been into. Obviously, if you're invited into a bunker and it's a specific tour, I'm going on a tour to the Short Brothers tunnels in Rochester. Rochester on Saturday, which is a guided tour of a bunker system. But I certainly wouldn't have going there on my own. So safety. You've got to think safety, but it's your risk assessment. You're gonna put through your head the same risk assessment that you do when you go and activate POTA. If you're going into a park in the middle of nowhere, you're going to think about going to that park and where you're going to be, letting people know, what you're doing.
And you had quite generous lines, didn't you, when you showed that map of close-up map of some bunkers? You had quite big blue circles, I think, around them, so that you could activate anywhere in there.
Yes, so within that then, so in the centre you had the actual bunker reference. So there's a 1 kilometre circle around that bunker. So you don't have to get on top of the bunker. As long as you're within that activation zone, that's a perfectly valid activation.
Brilliant. Jason, thank you ever so much for this evening. I don't think we have any more questions or comments from anybody, but you've really enlightened many of us who've been in the hobby for a while, but some of the more traditional activities. And BOTA is something we should certainly be looking out for as an opportunity to work and do a bit of challenge type of work, get outside a bit as well, and meeting those challenges. And the Bunketeer, I love it, love the name. Thank you very much for joining us tonight and inspiring others. I'll leave the final word actually to Mike G4DYC, who says, very informative presentation, seems very educational, including a training opportunities for new hams. Thanks, Jason. Good luck with your Morse, he says as well. Jason, 2E0JIV, thanks very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. There we are. Very good talk and really interesting about bunkers on the air. Now, if you've heard about people talking about bunkers, not bonkers, bunkers, then you know what they're talking about. Thanks very much again to Jason for joining us. That's almost it for this NARC Live. Just to go over the details of what's happening in the club this week. On Sunday, we've got the GB2RS News on GB3MB at 7 o'clock. Also on GB3MB on Monday at 7:30, we have the Monday Night Net. At 8 o'clock, the CW Net on 3.543 megahertz. And then next Wednesday, March the 5th, we've got a meeting at CNS with a tabletop sale. It's a great chance to get rid of some junk and other stuff as well, and some valued equipment, as well as maybe picking up a bargain. It's open and free to all members as well. Why not use the opportunity to join if you haven't done so already? So that's next Wednesday, March the 5th. And don't forget to keep in touch with your news, your stories, your pictures. What on earth objects? We'd love to see some more of those. And of course, if you'd like to send one of those NARC cards. By the way, the HRO that we mentioned earlier has been sold. So Martin's very pleased to have found a new home, good home for that. And also just a quick good luck to Bob, G7G82Z, who's having a much weighted operation on his knee on Monday. Good luck to you, Bob. But that's it from this NARC Live. From Tammy M0TC.
Bye-bye.
And from me, David G7ERP. Take care of yourselves. Look after each other. Bye-bye.